Obviously, there's a lot of like long takes. A lot of just the camera just kept rolling. Was that the intention from the beginning to do it like a documentary? And if so, were you nervous when you started production?
Yeah, actually, this was going to be a documentary at first. And when we submitted to Sundance, we submitted as a documentary and a fiction film because we weren't sure how to categorize it. I mean, this is Pasqual playing himself, Christine playing herself, excuse me, and everyone in the movie playing themselves. So, yeah, it's like we kind of thought it was a documentary. Our script was just a Google Doc.
How was the script? Like, was there a script, or was it just like, hey, this is the points we need to get for the?
So Ben was living in China. He still lives in China.
That's right.
I'm in LA, but I wrote like a first draft of it in a Google Doc, sent it to Ben. Ben did his, and we went back and forth a couple times, and we're like, okay, this is the script. And it's like a hybrid that it feels almost kind of like a treatment, or what you would do for a documentary, because in documentaries you're not writing dialogue. There were certain lines that we did write, but it was kind of this live thing that only we saw. And I think that was the key, is that no one else knew what we were doing at any given moment. So to the long takes, we always wanted to do long takes. And the idea was that because I'm also in so many of the scenes, like I knew where we wanted the story to go and we would discuss that. And so I was driving inside the scenes. And so we would just have this long head and this long tail like you would do in a verite film. And then we just knew the moment that was wanted.
And how did the actors, were they okay? Like, were they just like, all right, let's just keep going. Let's just see. Letting you guide them through the whole thing. So.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I think the wides help a lot in that way. Like we had a very we took it, like Ben is an amazing documentary filmmaker. And, you know,
Big ups.
Yeah, big ups. Last Year of Darkness, which played here last year.
Yeah, that's
by the way.
Congratulations on that.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes. Check it out if you haven't seen it. But, you know, we took those sensibilities and we applied them to fiction and we applied them to comedy, which I think is something that felt unique to us in the moment. Because especially like in comedy, you always rely on a lot of close-ups and a lot of coverage. And we were like, what's going to happen when we don't do that? And how will that change the tone? So that was an experiment. And we did do some tests. Because we were like in our heads, we were like, this is perfect. But we shot a lot of stuff with just Christine and me, preceding like some of the heavier production. And we were like, I think it's going to work.
Yeah, the scenes on two of y'all worked really, really well. It felt authentic. And I looked into it. I was like, oh, of course it felt authentic because y'all are, married in real life. So was there any moment while y'all were editing that you just said, oh my gosh, this surprised me. Like this segment is just the best thing. Was there any particular moment when you're editing that you were like, oh, thank God, this actually looks as great as we thought it was going to look?
I think maybe the first pass that Pasqual made. I mean, the editing was kind of crazy. The very first pass of the film was edited by Pasqual in between when Echo, the baby, was napping.
Yes.
Like so within the first like month or two.
Month.
Yeah. Pasqual was just like, okay, I have a minute. I'm not gonna sleep. I'm gonna put some things together. And I remember I was in Brazil at the time, and you sent me a cut, and I was like, oh man, like I think this is gonna work. It was like really sloppy, and it's obviously, the film it's very slow. It's like it's almost like slow cinema. We're just sitting there like watching for really long times, and you have to, as a viewer, be like, where's Waldo about it, and find the action in the frame. And I think it's really cool. Like I haven't seen a documentary that feels quite like that in this narrative context. So yeah, I think that was the surprise for me.
The scene that made me go, where's Waldo, was the baby shower scene.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm like, where is he?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, there he is. And I was like, oh, that's, I don't know. I thought that was just really, really clever. But I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I think the moment where we're like, it's working was, it was the first cut because we didn't have a lot else. So we were like, the whole thing has to work, or it's not going to work.
Yeah, it's like, this is all the footage we got.
And we made this rule that Ben kept me really honest to, because there were a couple moments where I did get nervous when we were filming. But Ben was like, listen, man, no matter what, we're never going to use coverage. Because if we shoot coverage, we're going to want to use it in the edit. So let's force ourselves to not do it.
Yeah.
And so that made it, easier on the cutting room floor, but also a bit harder because it was like which moment. And every scene would have maybe like 3 or 4 really solid moments. And so it was just the decision of that. But Yeah, it was a cool process, man.
Well, man, it paid off because, like I said, I saw it today and I thought it was fantastic. And one more question, they're kind of giving me to go. How did it feel to film in LA? Because I know a lot of productions are trying to get movies here. It's not working out. How did it feel to film here in LA?
I love Los Angeles, and I think this movie is a love letter to Los Angeles. It's obviously starring Pasquale and Christine, who are two of my best friends growing up in LA. I'm not from LA, I'm from Chicago, and I don't live in LA now, but I spent a lot of time here, and I have a lot of love for Los Angeles. And to be able to film in Echo Park and Silver Lake, just all these locations, and tell this story in this almost documentary way. Like our set usually was maybe 3 people, 4 people on set. It was very small. It's not like we're not doing a whole production. We don't have permits. This isn't like a whole setup thing, this is like a very DIY film. And so to do it in LA is, I don't know, I think it's really special. I think like, to me, this movie really represents Los Angeles, and I don't know, it holds a special place in my heart because I've wanted to make a film with and about Pasquale and Christine for a long time, because I think Pasquale and Christine are both geniuses, and I think they're both hilarious. And so to have both of them on camera interacting, even just like a scene where Christine is yelling at Pasquale for doing this movie and not being present as a partner, like just getting a scene like that is incredible, and I think says a lot about Los Angeles. It says a lot about the film industry, and it says a lot about life, really.
I mean, it was just, we were filming in our backyards, and that's always a good feeling, like, I think that's when I started making films, that's how I did it, in my parents' backyard or my cousin's house and at my friend's house. And that's what this was, with many of the scenes are in our real home, or they're in my real office, or they're in Boyle Heights, like where Miguel's from, or they're, like in our friend's barbershop. So it was just a lot of that. It was just there was a lot of community behind the whole thing. And it was a great opportunity because we're from here, we're based out here, like for people to come out and be part of it. And that was what was special, that was something I think that we'll remember forever,
So what drew you to the project?
Well, I've known Pasquale and Ben for a long time. I met them through my husband years ago. And I had heard about them working on a project. It was sort of like an auto-fiction comedy that they wanted to make about Pasquale and Christine's life. And I knew I loved the idea. Something about it really clicked with me. And so they called me up and they said they wanted help. I think they said navigating the road to Sundance and figuring out like how to get this movie over the line, get more financing in place, and figure out how to get it into the festival. And so I came on at that point, and that's what we did. We went and found more money. We put the team together, made the best of the resources that were available to us, and then we got it into Sundance, and the rest was history.
Nice. So I know they said they kind of did a Google Doc of the movie, of the script. So is that what you received, and you were like, okay, this is it, or was it the idea that made you say yes?
It was the idea first, and then yes, I saw the Google Doc, and that was fine.
Were you shocked that it was a Google Doc and not a formatted script?
A little bit. I've never worked on a feature that was written in Google Docs. That was a first.
First time for everything.
First time for everything.
What were some of the challenges you faced as the producer of this project?
One of the things that was interesting about this project was how fast it came together. So, from shooting to getting into Sundance, it was a year. So it kind of felt like we were flying the whole time. And even when we got a cut together to submit to Sundance, it was pretty rough at the time. And so when we got in, we kind of had to like double our pace just to like get the film done and get the DCP delivered. I think one of the very first things that I did after we accepted Sundance was I emailed them to say we needed to delay our DCP delivery by like 2 weeks.
Whoa. Okay.
So timing was everything on this one.
I can understand that. I had another question. What was your favorite moment of the movie? When you watched the full thing, what was your favorite moment that made you go, yes, this was great, this was awesome, I'm so excited to be part of this project?
There's so many funny moments in the film. I mean, Miguel is just amazing. Like, all the performances are so special, and there's so many moments that are really laugh out loud. But I think the thing that really hits home for me is the strength of Pasquale and Christine's bond in the film, and seeing what they overcome together, how they learn to work together through this period of transition in their lives, and seeing that connection and that love and that bond really kind of blossom, like, even though they face such difficult circumstances in the film. I think, like, that to me is like the emotional core of the film and what I really love about it.
Saw the movie today, and I thought you were amazing.
I love that.
Cracking me up, dude. I was like, this is great. So, when you got the script and you read the character, were you like, all right, this is ridiculous, or were you like excited to do it?
I was so excited. I had to become Pasqual, and I felt like we're kind of like the same in some ways. So I love playing it. It was an amazing experience.
Yeah, there was moments where I was like, wait, which one is the what the ending got me? So when you read the ending, did you get a good laugh out of it when you read the script and the ending?
Yeah, I was like the entire show of it and doing it. I was like, wow, it just blew my mind.
Blew your mind?
Yeah.
What was your favorite like part of it? Like, what was your favorite moment of shooting this thing, and doing these scenes?
My favorite moment of shooting this thing is every day just going and being excited to act every day with Pasqual. It's amazing. I feel honored.
How much of it was you like ad libbed? Like how much of it, or did Pasqual like kind of say you have to say this, or was it even ad libbed? Did you have fun with it?
I definitely did have fun with it. It was a lot of like, you know what would he say? And I'll put some of my stuff just like all the time. Yeah.
Gotcha, man. All right, well, I know they want us to get out of here, but hey, I just want to say amazing job on the thing. It was great, and I thought you did an awesome job.